is up, guys? For this video I wanted to introduce you to the new car that I picked up about a month ago, and I've been kind of working on it, getting it fixed up so I can start driving it. And that car is this 1982 Volkswagen Rabbit Convertible. I picked this car up for $800. I found it through a friend of mine, so I went and picked this thing up for $800. Drove it home with only one minor issue, which ended up turning out it was just a bad battery, but at the time I thought the starter was bad. Drove it back home and just began tinkering with it almost right away. I've been holding off on modifying stuff on this car. I've just been trying to fix things so that, you know, when I went and made the video introducing it, everything was in working order, and we can just jump right into modifying and customizing this car a little bit, which is what the next video on this car is going to be. So this isn't like going to be a huge project. My main goal is just to be able to get in this thing, turn the key, and drive it whenever I want, pretty much, you know, weather permitting. I'm not going to be driving this thing in the winter or when it's super cold out, because why would you drive an old convertible when it's cold or snowing out? You know, it doesn't make any sense. And I also don't want the car to rust, because this thing has very, very minimal rust on it. It's in really good shape, especially for a VW that spent its entire life in Northwest Ohio. I guess we'll just go around the car. I'll show you guys some of the stuff that I've done to it, mainly maintenance stuff. There's two modifications I guess I've made, which I will show you guys right now. So going around the exterior, the paint on this car is in excellent shape. It's never been in any wrecks. I've checked everything to see if there's any sort of damage repair or anything like that, and I have not been able to find anything. This is the original paint. At one point somebody was touching up little rust spots that were showing up with spray paint, which kind of upsets me, but it's not the end of the world, especially now that the car does definitely need a full respray to really fix some of the little rust it's got. Like there's a rust hole there where the antenna was, but this car looks really good from about 10 feet, which is good enough. Like you see the thing rolling down the road, it looks like a brand new car almost. The only rust it has is down here. We've got some on the bottom of the fender and in the corner here. This is a pretty common issue, very easy to fix. And then we've got some back here in the corner. Once again, common issue, very easy fix. Nice part about this is that most of the rotted part is where VW put this texturized undercoating on it. And that means that, you know, body work isn't quite as crucial, because the undercoating will hide any minor imperfections in, you know, body work and stuff, which is awesome for me because I know nothing about body work. And then we just got little surface rust spots kind of poking out around little areas like that. But yeah, other than that, the exterior of the car is near perfect. It's the original top still on this car, and it is in very good shape, although it's definitely kind of dried out and gotten a little bit hard in some areas. You can see there's a crack right here. Original owner garage kept it. Second owners, because it was a husband and wife that had it, also garage kept it the entire time they had it. And I'm guessing, because it wasn't driven very much by the second owners, that it's probably, you know, that I'm driving it a lot and I'm opening and closing the top a lot because I'm actually, you know, driving the car, it's probably going to start to wear out pretty quickly, especially given its age. But for right now, this top is in very good shape. It just needs cleaned up. I will treat it with something to try and soften it back up and preserve it as long as I can, but I'm pretty sure in the next year or two I'm probably going to have to start thinking about getting a new top for it, just given the age of this thing. But we'll just play it by ear, see how it goes. Modifications to the exterior and to the suspension, I guess we'll talk about real quick. So this car has snowflakes on it now. It had 13-inch steel wheels, which are under this pile with some very worn out tires, which are actually oversized for what the car is supposed to have. So I went and got these snowflakes from my friend Jay, and then got these brand new tires because I work at a tire shop now. So I got just they're just Durells, just cheap tires, but they're new. They're, you know, they're fine. This isn't a race car. I just wanted something that would work and wasn't 20 years old. So got new wheels and tires on it, and the snowflakes, the Steelies looked okay, but I think the snowflakes look a lot better, especially given the look I'm going to be going for here with this car. I think these alloys will definitely be a much more appropriate fit for the overall look that I'm trying to achieve. The other thing that I did was I converted to Gti Brakes, and these wheels are too small to really see, but I've got GTI vented rotors and GTI brake pads, and then just a brand new set of calipers because I figured I would just change them out. So we've got all new front brakes, which was definitely a good idea. The old brakes were very shot, and got to upgrade it at the same time with now a vented rotor, because the regular Rabbit rotor is just a solid rotor, not vented. So we've got some improved braking and all new, which is good to go. Rear brakes I still need to address. They actually work fine, but I have a leaking cylinder on this wheel, a very slow leak. I'll probably just change both cylinders on the back, just because if this one's going, the other one's probably not that far from going either. Metal door handles. So these door handles came off of a Porsche 924 Turbo, and they are steel. They bolt right up to a Mark 1 or Mark 2 Volkswagen. You can change all the linkages out so that it has the correct linkage, and you can have metal handles that don't break on your VW. But getting these is very hard. I got lucky and actually found a 924 at a junkyard that still had the handles on it, so I grabbed them, paid 10 bucks a piece for them. Very, very good upgrade. These things sell for way over 100 bucks online used. So if you ever at a junkyard see a 924 and you have a Mark 1 or 2 Volkswagen, grab the door handles if they're still there, because they are a very hot item. A lot of people want them. I'm definitely glad that I found these on accident, pretty much, because I didn't know about them. I just remember seeing them and thinking those look like, you know, Volkswagen door handles, so I pulled them off and then found out that I got very lucky coming across them. Not really anything else to go over. I've cleaned the car a little bit and then made it dirtier because it's a white car, and you know, when you're working under the hood you get fingerprints and stuff all over it, like the smudge right there. But that's basically it for the exterior and the suspension and stuff. Everything else is just as it was when I got it. Interior, I have just pieced some stuff together. For some reason, one of the previous owners had removed the seat belts and some of the panels from the back of the car and in the trunk as well. Some of those were pulled out. They were just in the car in a box. I don't know why they were taken out, unless maybe this car took in water at some point and they pulled it apart to go and clean it. I'm not really sure, but I went and put all that back together. Rewired a radio and put one of them in. I've got new speakers in the door. Worked on some stuff. This gauge cluster is pretty shot. The odometer broke on the drive home with it. The tack is kind of goofy. The back lights don't work. I've got it rigged up right now with some other light so I can kind of see. And then like the oil light just stays on all the time, and there's just some goofy stuff going on with that. But it does work good enough. The speedometer sort of works. But everything else in the interior other than the gauge cluster works just the way it's supposed to, other than I have deleted the air conditioning that this car did have but didn't work. The air conditioning brackets, I'll kind of show you guys a little bit, but the AC brackets on this car were a disaster. Not adjustable at all, so you couldn't tension the belt. Near impossible to take apart. I had to put a new alternator in this car, and ended up just having to just rip all that stuff out of there and convert to a non-AC setup, which I had the parts for because I have 2 VW engines on the wall back there, but it was definitely a pain in the butt. But yeah, interior is pretty much complete. The carpet's kind of shot. Somebody's replaced the back carpet with some household carpet, you can see there, and the front carpet's been pulled out and put back in very poorly by somebody, but it works. I'll end up having to replace both carpets probably at some point. I want to go into the floor and pull a sound deadening out and clean the floor and check it for any rust, because I know that it got wet once while I was driving it. I just want to get in there and take a look and see what we're looking like in there. But under the hood is where I've spent most of my time. We'll go ahead and pop that open, and I'll show you guys that. Oh, I had to replace these corner windows. So some of these Rabbits had windows with glue-on hinges and tabs. Some had bolt-in ones. Most have bolt-in ones. My car came with the glue-in ones, and the tabs break off and your window just kind of lays in there and falls out and leaks water and stuff. So I got these windows from my friend Jay also, who gave me these wheels. Gave me these corner windows, which are from a Jetta, I think, actually, but they fit in this car just fine. So swap them in, so now I have bolted in windows that aren't broken and don't leak. So got that all taken care of. You have to pull everything out of the door to get those in. That was not a fun job, but it's done and it's fixed, and I shouldn't have to do it again. So pop the hood here and you guys will see that I have spent most of my time in here. First thing you'll notice is this engine bay is very clean. I have degreased and pressure washed this engine bay a couple of times because I did it once and then it came out really good. Then I went and removed some more stuff from the engine bay and cleaned some things up more and ended up pressure washing it a second time. But things that I fixed in here, first one, alternator. So this is actually a Chevy alternator for like an old G-body. It's a 3-wire, It fits right into the VW bracket down there. So this is a non-AC, non-power steering bracket setup off of an 85 Westy Golf, so a Mark II. Swapped those onto this engine and then ran this alternator. This was a cabriolet alternator bracket that I modified a little bit so that the bolt is fixed into the front here. There's like 2 washers I welded there, and I cut the teeth off of it for the adjuster, so it's just a bracket. And then this is the 85 Mark II non-AC, non-power steering tensioner here that actually I'm using to tension everything. And I was able to run a Chevy alternator on it. You have to run a relay for it so that the alternator can't feed power back into everything, because if you just borrow switch power from something and run it to the alternator, what will happen when you shut the car off is the alternator will actually pump power out through the signal wire and your car won't turn off. So keep that in mind. I got the relay mounted right here. This car has the non-reservoir radiator, so I have that open spot over there, which worked out pretty perfect. I did that. I put some fresh baffling in, or custom baffling into the valve cover. So this valve cover came off of that engine back there. So the issue I was having was, it wasn't so much because of blow-by, but just because of the horrible baffling system on these cars. Oil was getting chucked into the vent hose, running down into where it used to come into the airbox and leaking out of the airbox. So I pulled the original valve cover off. It's just sitting on that engine back there. And then I took this valve cover because it's kind of messed up, kind of pitted and stuff. And I ended up taking it apart inside and welding in my own custom-made baffles. And then I welded a tube into it right here and then just stuck a filter on it. I want to run a catch can, but for now the filter has been working fine. I can take that filter off, rev it, let it idle, and no oil comes out of there anymore, which is awesome. Also fresh valve cover gasket and stuff, so it's all sealed up. Put a new battery in it, rewired a couple of things. This yellow wire is the power source I added for the radio, because for some reason the radio original power source comes through the 4-way switch and it did not like that, so did that. This is the power source for the relay right there. And then all the rest of these were already here before. I don't know what VW was trying to accomplish with all of this, but my plan at some point is to move the battery to the trunk and just put a bus bar or something here and clean this whole area up. And then once I do that, I'll clean all the wiring. I've replaced all of the vacuum hoses because this is the CIS, mechanical injection, the Bosch stuff, and they do not like any sort of vacuum or air leak at all. They will run like crap. So replaced every rubber hose on the car, deleted all of the evap and all that stuff from it. The canister's still down there. I still have to pull that out, but all the rest of it is completely gone. The little motor and thing is gone. I've gone and cleaned this whole area up. I took the washer sprayer out because the switch in the car doesn't work, so I just got rid of it. It doesn't really need it. And then I got rid of the vacuum reservoir, which are the black balls. Those things right there. I took those off because they're ugly and it looks a lot better without it, and I really don't need it now that I'm not running air conditioning on this car anymore. And then I also got a brand new rain tray for it, so that's like a repop. I can't remember the company that makes it, but it's a little bit more durable of a plastic than the original one, and the original one on the car was broken, so that was something I wanted to take care of right away. And then I deleted all the vacuum lines, had to run the 85 Westy Golf boot on the intake because it only has the one port for the fast idle valve, whereas the original cabby one or original rabbit one that was on here had a bunch of other stuff that ports on it that ran to stuff. So I did that so I didn't have to plug anything off. And then the transmission, I put a new gasket and new filter and screen and stuff in it, cleaned all that, fresh fluid, so that is all happy and good to go. Honestly, for a 40-year-old engine bay and just degreasing and pressure washing, this looks it looks brand new. Even the engine, look at how clean everything is on here. It's just almost mind-blowing how good it looks. So at some point I want to come in here and do even more, maybe try to tuck some wires, battery in a different spot, just clean even more stuff, hide some stuff. I want to get a one-piece speedometer cable to get rid of the O2 sensor box because that thing is stupid, and just, you know, try to clean and hide things a little bit more. Not go for a full tuck, but like a partial tuck, make it look nice. This car is not like a race car. I don't plan on making it fast, even though I do have stuff to turbocharge it, which we may talk about one day. I acquired the stuff because I had an actual Mark II Golf that I was going to put together and turbocharge, but I ended up selling that car and then getting this. It's kind of a long story. This car, I just want it to be a nice, fun cruiser. I want to have a car that is, you know, a project car or fun car to just kind of cruise around and enjoy, something that's not meant to be fast, but just, you know, fun in its, you know, just a fun cruiser pretty much. I don't really know how to explain it, but I think you guys will kind of understand. And I don't think there's much of a better car to suit that than a convertible Mark I Volkswagen. Yeah, that is the Rabbit. I hope you guys are looking forward to seeing some of the stuff I plan on doing. It's going to be a lot of cosmetic stuff, some lighting upgrades. We're going to be taking the bumpers off. We got some race lands down there. We're going to be having some fun with this thing. And I kind of wanted to get the thing pretty well fixed up and sorted mechanically so that once I start making videos on it, we can just jump right into modifying it. I've been wanting a Mark I Volkswagen for a long time. I've owned 2 Mark IIs this year. One of them actually was Colby's old one, which is kind of ironic. It kind of came full circle, and then I parted that one out. But I really, really wanted a Mark I, and when I found this one, or when this one found me, I guess you could say, it was just, it was the one. I had to get it. There was no way I was going to say no. I actually initially turned this car down because I had the other Golf, and I was like, well, I really don't have time or space. And then I was like, I found somebody that kind of wanted to buy the Golf, and I was like, you know what, this is the car that I need to have. This is the one that I need to pick up and keep around. So next video will probably be the bumper delete, because that's something I've been looking forward to doing. This thing still has the US crash safety bumpers with the shock absorbers, and they look like park benches. They're just ridiculous. I mean, if we get up close enough, you can kind of see what the car would look like without a bumper. That's going to be the end of this video. Hope you guys have enjoyed this little tour of my new project, and I hope you guys are looking forward to seeing what is coming up next for it. And I wanted to show you guys this thing because I really, really want to get into modifying it and making it look different and stuff. So yeah, thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you all later.